Welcome back, fellow adventurers. I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping before I jump into today's video. The winner of the Tome Adventure Design giveaway was Mike Saxton. If you are Mike Saxton, please reach out to me at this email address that is just like right here on the screen. It's benjaminbarsh@gmail.com. I made a couple announcements, tried to reach out to you, but if you are unable to accept the giveaway, I will have to pick another winner. So Mike Saxton, please shoot me an email here so I can send you the book. Anyway, let's get into today's video. Welcome back, fellow adventurers, the Frog God Games YouTube channel. I am Ben Barsh, your host guide and dungeon master here through all the craziness that is Frog God Games. And today I'm going to be talking about more Tome of Horrors monsters. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. I love this series, basically where I take a deep dive into the Tome of Horrors by Frog God Games, which is this amazing book. It's a brand new monster compendium for 5e. And it basically just has more monsters to throw at your party. And today I want to talk about new giants that are in this book that you can use to absolutely terrify any PC player character that is at the table. The three giants that we are going to be talking today are the Sea Giant, the Volcano Giant, and the Wood Giant. Now I picked these because, to be honest, they are just really fun, really cool, personally my favorites, and they give you new giants to have in very specific encounters. Sure, you could take normal giants and put them in the encounters and you kind of retcon them a little bit, like a fire giant be the volcano, but in my opinion, to have the most fun at the table, you have the very, very specific giants for the specific situations. I'm going to be talking really quick about their stat blocks and areas that you can use these giants or adventures where you could throw them in. So starting off with the Sea Giant, you can see the stat block on the screen, but I wanted to give you a little bit of lore on it as well while you read that over. So sea giants are reclusive cousins to the storm giants. They are most often found in the deep depths of the sea, where they make their dwellings in the cones of long dead undersea volcanoes. So basically they are, how I kind of see them is they are like, sons and daughters of Poseidon. They can manipulate the sea to their advantage. They are chaotic neutral, so you can use them as forces of good in the sea, fighting against like Sahagin or something, or you can use them as forces of evil, depending on how their upbringing is or something like that. They are obviously amphibious. They can breathe underwater and in air. They also have innate spellcasting, which is really fun in my opinion. You can control water and control weather, plus, a little bit of cantrips, create or destroy water, detect magic. They have a multi-attack where they can slam or use a rock. And then they have a really cool crushing presence ability that you can recharge if you roll a 5 to 6 on your d6. The Sea Giant chooses an area of water no larger than a 50-foot cube with 30 feet in it. The water pressure within the space magically increases, and creatures within that area treat it as difficult terrain. In addition, any creature who enters or begins its turn within that area must make a Constitution saving throw or take bludgeoning damage on a failed saving throw or half as much unsuccessful. The area remains affected by this magic for 1 minute, or you can dismiss it if you would like. So personally, I would use this if you are maybe at sea and you get attacked by some of the sea giants. So since this monster is challenge rating 9, you can probably throw this at your group of 5e players. If you have at least like 4 or 5 of them, probably level 7 or 8. And then if you want to have more than one sea giant, probably at higher level, like level 10, 11, 12, something like that. So the Sea Giant is really fun if you're doing a sea campaign like Sea King's Malice for Frog God Games. That'd be a pretty fun way to incorporate it. Next up, we have the Volcano Giant. Now, the Volcano Giant, in my opinion, of the three, is probably the most susceptible to be evil, even though in nature it is chaotic neutral, just like the Sea Giant. Generally, of course, you're going to find them in volcanic areas, in caverns, in the volcanic cone. Its challenge rating is a whopping 13, so you might want to be a little bit more careful with this guy. It has a very high AC at 19, a lot of hit points because it has a high constitution, obviously. It's a giant. It has heated body. The Volcano Giant's attacks deal an additional 2d6 fire damage, which is included in its multi-attack below, as you can see in the spear, in the slam, and in the throw rock, which is its ranged weapon. And then it also has a breath weapon. Yay, I love throwing breath weapons at my party. A Volcano Giant can exhale a cloud of warm and sulfuric gas in a 30-foot cone. All creatures in that area must succeed on a DC 19 Constitution saving throw or take 10d6 acid damage and be poisoned for 1 minute. Now, as you can see, that is a pretty deadly breath weapon. But if the characters are fighting that monster at, levels 10, 11, 12, 13, it won't be as bad. The poison ability there, though, or the poison on it might cause problems if they have disadvantage on, you know, their attacks against that monster. Also, at a astounding 18-foot tall, this monster is terrifying. Next up, we have the Wood Giant. Now, these are kind of like your friends of the forest, your friendly giant. They are good in nature, and they kind of resemble wood elves, you know, if they were 10 feet tall. So like I said, generally these giants are good aligned, so perhaps one of them can be working with the party to defeat a great enemy that is threatening a forest. Although it is the weakest giant at a challenge rating 4, it can cause problems for enemies of the PCs, or if you really want, you could have it be corrupted in some way and have, you know, maybe your adventure is you're exploring a corrupted forest, and one of these wood giants is under the influence of a dark artifact, and if you kill the giant or reduce its hit points to 0, maybe it snaps out of that effect, and then that wood giant helps them on their quest to destroy whatever evil has overcome the forest. Cool ability it has is the Alter Self innate spell casting. You can use this in a couple different ways to, you know, maybe spice up the adventure a little bit. Going back up to the top, its armor class is only 16, which isn't that high. So, moderate hit points, again, it does have a decent constitution for being a giant, and then it has a multi-class attack with its greatsword or longbow. Because like we said, this guy really isn't as much of a brutish beast as the Sea Giant or the Volcano Giant, but can certainly be used as some helpful flavor or even an NPC for the players. So guys, that wraps up the new giants that are in here. There are more new giants, but if you want to see those, you can go ahead and buy the Tome of Horrors from Frog God Games. You can buy it at the top link in the description right there. You can get the hardcover or the PDF version of it. Again, I could not recommend this book enough. I personally use it all the time in my games if I'm not super inspired by, you know, monsters from the Monster Manual or other bestiaries. I have also been very lucky by Frog God Games as they have allowed me to use these monsters in my own published works, of course with a license, and people love them. I actually wrote basically an entire adventure based around one of the monsters in this book, so personally I love it and could not recommend it enough. If you guys enjoy this series, please leave a comment down below and let me know, and if you learned something about these new giants, or if you are excited to use these giants in your game. Leave a like if you enjoyed, because it helps me grow the channel, and subscribe for more content, because we put out 1 to 2 videos a week at least. That is it for me today, guys. Have a magical day, and keep going on adventures worth winning.